What's going on, everybody? This is Potato and Bucket, a.k.a. Zach Van Deventer.
Michael Beckett.
And this is our new podcast we're going to start discussing.
The inaugural podcast.
Inaugural podcast. That's a good word, Beckett. Good wordplay. You're actually smart. Now, can you describe for the audio listeners at home what we're looking at right now on a randomized playlist on YouTube?
Well, right now we're looking at fucking Freddy Krueger haunt somebody's dreams. So I would like to add this note. I went on a beer run. Zach's here by himself. Keep in mind he has no arms, no legs, so I had to go on the beer run. Anyways, I walk through the door and I'm like, it smells like semen in here, like sex, you know, it smells. I'm like, you jacking off while I was gone? And he says, no. Like, are you sure? I mean, it smells. No, okay, so I believe him. We get ready to kick this podcast off. And like, oh, let's go to YouTube. Let's see what's on YouTube. So we're talking about some shit on YouTube. It's playing an Arnold Schwarzenegger montage from him in, what was that, Predator?
Commando.
It was from Commando, sorry. And it's playing some like rock and roll music, like 80s. Motley Crue. And it's Arnold just shooting his guns, being all beefcaked out. I'm like, okay, so you were jerking off while I was gone. Okay.
I would like to reiterate, no, I was not jerking off.
I
have no idea how that happened. But anyway...
The video automatically pops up as soon as you turn on YouTube. It's like, okay, there's Arnold.
But it was funny, and it offered a good kicking off point.
You got kicked off or something like that.
You're a dick. Anyway, so what's been going on?
Not much, man. We talked about starting this podcast, and I guess thought it was a good idea to do something for fun. Might see if we make a run of it.
A hobby, a little bit of a hobby starting off, and see what happens with it. Anyway, so we're just going to talk about some various topics, basically shit that we're interested in, because we don't really give a fuck what everybody else is interested in. But we're going to talk about kind of what we're interested in. Hopefully we can find some other like-minded people who are like, okay, they're funny and they're cool, so we're going to listen to what they have to say. Probably not, but maybe.
Never know.
Anyway, so being as it is, what is the date for the people out there, Beckett?
Today is Friday the 13th.
February, Friday the 13th. And so I just want to throw this out there. I got a funny story about last night. Okay, so as you know, today is the opening day of 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, fuck me running.
Okay, so...
Literally.
Last night, I kind of get into the movie theater for free every now and then, so I was debating. I was standing there.
He gets the cripple discount.
On one side, there was 50 Shades of Grey. On the other side, Kingsman. And I'm sitting there looking at it, and I'm thinking, okay, sweaty comic book nerds... or horny housewives. And what happened? What did I choose?
Comic book nerds.
Comic book nerds, you're right. I went and watched The Kingsman, which I want to say The Kingsman was very, very good. It was a completely fresh take on the spy genre. Kind of self-referencing other things, and it was good. It was really good. Kind of meta in a weird way.
But, you know, if you had the choice between going into a movie theater and seeing a bunch of horny housewives flicking their bean in the middle of a show... But you're like, I'm just going to watch Samuel L. try to kill some people, some British people at that.
Samuel L. put on a bad lisping accent for this movie.
Well, I mean,
and wear a weird...
some Black Snake Moan.
And Black Snake Moan was a good flick, I have to say.
I don't know what the fuck flick you was watching, but sure shit.
Christina Ricci, I believe she was in that movie.
That girl, if she's not on heroin, I don't know what the fuck she's on.
She was smoking hot in that movie.
Like in a heroin 1990s junkie way, or just...
The heroin 1990s junkie way. Okay. Now that we've moved on past that. So, Beckett, what are you listening to these days, man? What are you listening to? I know you're a big music file. What are you listening to? You have an eclectic taste, so what's going on?
I listen to a lot of different things. I mix between a lot of country, a lot of old rock. Right now, what's in my playlist, primarily I get a lot of Sturgill Simpson. And if you ever get a chance to check him out, High Top Mountain or Modern Sounds of Country Music, both great, solid albums. Like the savior of country music, I'm telling you. Like,
I believe last time you were here hanging out, I listened to a little Sturgill, and I have to admit, very interesting stuff, very entertaining, almost kind of like an old Waylon mixed with a little bit of Conway, mixed with a little bit of Johnny Paycheck. I mean,
he's just very, very talented.
Right.
If I'm not listening to him, hell, I'm probably listening to, I would say, I don't know, some classic Led Zeppelin. every once in a while, I like listening to, what the fuck is this? Watching Accept Stalingrad. Okay, anyway, this YouTube's just on random shit right now. But I should have been listening to Kings of Leon as well. I mean, for a mainstream rock group, I give them solid props.
Kings of Leon isn't bad. What do you feel about the bro country music movement, as I think you coined it earlier? Hashtag bro country.
There's too many words to describe it. How much
with like Luke Bryan, or you hate Luke Bryan. You're not into that.
Not as a person. I mean, I don't know him personally, of course, but I mean, just as the type of sludge.
Yeah, good thing
bullshit.
Good thing you cleared that up. It's like Luke Bryan. Fuck you.
But just like, as the way country music has been heading ever since early 2000s, maybe late 90s. It's just become complete garbage, overrun by corporate Nashville. You got a bunch of douchebag kids in a cubicles writing songs for $10 an hour to make some piece of shit look good on a music video. I mean, it's not just him. It's just like Luke Bryan, Florida Georgia Line, just horrible music. There's no good quality to it, and I can't really just say that just for country music only. I mean, it's went over into our rock genres. It's went into like every single facet of music. Like it's always some type of sellout. It's always, which I get, they got to make money, but it's like either people have become tone deaf and they're just liking the most stupid shit imaginable, or it's just, I don't know. It's like today's listeners are just mindless zombies.
I like to think we're kind of sheep, and whatever's marketed right is what's gonna be listened to.
You're right. Whatever's just put out in front of us, what's force fed to us, is what we listen to. You know, for those of us folks that actually have a good taste in music, we prefer to listen to music from a era, from genres that aren't like this anymore, or aren't like this, but fuck today's country music. And I think incorporating rap into country music. I believe Tim McGraw was one of the first offenders to do this, but even today it's become more and more. Jason Aldean, just what the hell are we doing, folks?
However, I do want to point out that Dirt Road Anthem is actually a pretty good song. And that wasn't actually wrote by Jason Aldean at first. It was Brantley Gilbert and Colt Ford that originally wrote that song.
I don't even want to talk about Colt Ford.
Oh, you're a Colt Ford bigot now too?
Okay, have you seen Colt Ford live?
No, I have not.
Okay, here's how he comes out to his shows. I'm here. I'm going to tell y'all I support everything, the hard-working folks. I support America and working hard. I mean, it's how he tries to pump up the crowd, Mention, these West Virginia... We're from West Virginia, by the way, a little hick state. But, how bands and, entertainers like to pump up the crowd by mentioning, local things or mentioning the state that you're residing in. It's just like, aside from his just antics whenever he's trying to pump up the crowd, because the crowd was completely just silent and wondering what the fuck was going on. So they did not like his music, but every single time he mentioned working hard and Jesus and West Virginia, everybody's like, woo, yeah, motherfucker, give me some Bud Light. I mean, that was pretty much the general consensus. But whenever he started playing one of his god-awful songs, nothing. You could have heard fucking crickets.
One of his god-awful songs.
It just, hillbillies shouldn't rap. That just, I'm not saying white people can't rap, because, obviously we got Eminem, people like that. It's not that white people can't rap, it's just the fact that hillbillies shouldn't rap, because, we have distinctive accents. And
okay, what about Kid Rock? He's kind of a hillbilly, plus he raps.
Oh my God. Kid Rock. I can't even stand Kid Rock. Don't even get me going on Kid
Not
Rock.
anymore. We used to listen to a lot of Kid Rock back in the day.
Whenever we was in 5th grade, maybe, because, what was that? Devil Without a Cause?
Yeah, Devil Without a Cause.
That was the shit. But you got to also think the thong song was popular in that time frame as well.
So, yes, and I still happen to like thongs on women, so...
Well, I do too. I mean, that video was visually appealing, but as far as musically, it's just complete shit. But, I mean, we listened to some horrible stuff whenever we was kids. We all do.
Speaking of what we
gotta learn to
listening
grow up.
now, what the fuck is this, and what the fuck clip movie is this?
This is something. It says something from the. Like, it might be a movie or a show called Stalingrad. I mean, there's Stalin in the picture right there.
There's
Obviously,
also
folks
Jude
at home
Law.
Can't see this, but
There's also Jude Law.
it might be a show or a movie. But they pretty much got a heavy metal or
I think
hard
it's Killer
rock,
Dwarfs.
hard rock song going on.
Are we familiar with Killer Dwarfs at all?
I'm not. I'm
not at all.
I can't. But they're showing footage of this movie or film or TV
Whatever the
show,
fuck it
whatever the
is.
fuck it is. But it's evidently set during World War II and it's the Battle of Stalingrad, evidently. Because, I mean, I am a history buff. I do love, war history especially. But, so they're showing Stalingrad, and that's probably the name of the movie or show, whatever the fuck it is. But you said Jude Law was in it?
That was Jude Law right
Okay.
there.
Okay, so we just got a montage of Jude Law
Jude Law.
in Stalingrad.
Jude Law killing
Nazis.
Nazis. Ain't nothing to do but kill
My damn
Nazis.
cigar went out. Fuck. But, anyway. So, what have you been listening to?
Basically what I've been listening to, man. I listen to a lot of old school country. I listen to a lot of Hank Jr., a lot of Johnny Cash, a lot of Waylon Jennings, things like that. I don't know. I connect with that. I believe you posted a post on Facebook not too long ago. You said Midnight in Montgomery, and I posted the Hank's Always Singing There. I like that. I like that.
That's a good song.
That's a good song. I like it. I like old school country stuff. I listen to a lot of.
I'm not a big Alan Jackson fan,
No,
but that song, he sang it so well. Beautiful.
and I listen to a lot of. I listen to an eclectic amount of stuff. I mean, just whatever I kind of happen to be in the mood for.
Now, let's talk about Hank Williams Jr. for a second.
Okay.
What's coming on next? My Halloween theme. Okay, it's going to be interesting. But anyways, might just be the Michael Myers Halloween theme playing on repeat. But anyways, Hank Jr., can you say that all of his albums are like solidly are great or good, or is he like the Nickelback of country music? He has like
Well, I can't say that all of his albums are 100% artistically great. I mean, because
like take for example what would popular like Born to Boogie or
okay, well, if you take
It's
the
like-
heyday, which was of the 1980s when he had
70s 80s, but
like the late 70s, early 80s when he had like 4 albums or 5 albums on the charts at the same time. All of those albums had Whiskey Bent and Hellbound, Country Boy Can't Survive, Born to Boogie, All My Rowdy Friends Are Coming Over Tonight,
It's
stuff
just
like
like-
that. Which all the stuff you would say is Hank's biggest hits, but in a lot of those albums too, the lesser known songs,
But-
you realize Hank can actually write too.
yeah, I mean he has some, but like say for example Whiskey Bent and Hellbound, you listen to the album, Whiskey Bent and Hellbound of course stands out, but
Also, that album had Outlaw Women on it, which is a great song.
that was a good lesser known song,
and that's about all I think I can think of.
okay. The rest of it was just kind of like he was just putting.
There's also
He has so many albums. It's like he just pushes them out the door. It's like he'll have like 1 or 2 good songs on an album, and it's like the rest just.
So I guess I kind of say he kind of might be a little like the Nickelback of country music, but
I don't want to.
I'm not downplaying.
I'm not going
Hank.
to down him just because no one should be called the Nickelback of music because Nickelback are just horrible enough on their own. I'm just going to just do it. I realize there's probably some crazy bar whores that might be listening or some crazy people that just...
There might be some crazy former CAD teachers listening.
We're not going to name his name, but we did have an AutoCAD teacher in high school. If he's listening, well, he'll know who he is, of course, but this man loves Shinedown and Nickelback more than anything.
And that's it. We used to listen to Simply Man by
Simple Man,
Shinedown
yeah.
on repeat every day.
Or it would be like Never Again by Nickelback over...
Yeah.
Or Far Away. That
Far
was
Away, over and over and over
okay,
again.
no one... And we was, 17, 18 years old. This is like senior year of high school. No one should be subjected to that at all. I mean...
It's like a form of torture.
We was sitting there trying to do our AutoCAD drawings, and you got our teacher that is... just trying to act like a 20-year-old, but he's just listening to like the most horrible music ever written. I mean, when Nickelback first came out, it was like, okay, we kind of dug it. It was all right. I mean, they had some decent songs, but then you got to realize every album was the same. Every song was almost the same. There's always going to be a song. Now we're watching a play
No.
It looks like a softcore porn.
This is a YouTube clip from the movie Death Stalker 2.
Okay, see,
I have no idea what it's a horror flick, but I'm not familiar with
looks
it.
Very campy, but
It looks very campy and softcore pornish. I know that Bond's kind of 80s hot,
but
and that weirdo dwarf in the background's kind of off-putting, but okay.
Hey, tiny person, okay? But anyways, Zach here, Mr. Potato, he is an avid fan of horror movies.
Avid. Very avid.
Me, on the other hand, not so much. I really like comedies, and I like a good action movie that's not a Michael Bay film. I cannot sit through a Michael Bay film unless I'm tripping on
Not
acid.
a big fan of Transformers Age of Extinction, I'm guessing. Marky Mark doesn't do it for you?
No, and none of the Transformers movies ever did, just because unless I'm high on a psychedelic, it's like I'm going there with the expectations of explosions. Okay, explosions can captivate, but if there's nothing behind that, you just got an over-budgeted piece of shit. I mean, it's just pretty much the gist of it. And I need to start keeping my fucking cigar. It's going out.
Well, Michael Bay produces over-budgeted
she does have a
piece
solid
of
rack,
shit.
I'll give her that.
Yeah, she does. Huh? All right, so yeah, I mean, back to what we were talking about with Hank Williams. You know, I think that Hank Jr.'s got a lot of solid writing. I mean, because like Major Moves, Blues Man, those are all very beautifully written songs. I mean, the man's got chops.
Did he write a lot of his own stuff?
Yeah, he wrote a lot of his own stuff. Now, there's a few things that were covers, like I know Come and Go Blues, which is actually a Allman Brothers cover.
He covered Simple Man as well. I know he covered
Yeah, from Skip, but that wasn't all that great.
No, let's not forget him and his son, Hank Williams III, also, they did a cover CD of Hank Sr.'s.
Yeah, it was called The Three Hanks, I think.
That wasn't too bad. I mean, I do prefer the original There's a Tear in My Beer by Hank Sr., even though originally that was unreleased.
That was in one of Bill Lister, I think was the guy's name, in his attic. That song was I think it was an old high five recording of it.
If you can listen to like the original that he cut without Hank Jr., which the Hank Jr. version was good too, but yeah, it was. You know why they didn't release it, don't you?
Because of his death, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, no, it was because he didn't want to seem too much of an alcoholic.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. He was struggling
with alcohol. He was,
that was at the time of his pinnacle of his alcoholism. People were starting to focus on
people,
right?
Yeah, people, kind of knew he was an alcoholic, but he wanted to try to hide it, like not to the extent Keith Whitley did, but at the time, Hank Sr., he suffered from spina bifida, and he was in chronic back pain, so he pretty much all he did was take opiates and drink. And because, they didn't have as modern of a surgery procedures that they do now, as well as medicine didn't always.
Was it spinal bifida?
Yeah, he had spinal bifida.
Okay.
And so that kind of attributed to a lot of his drinking.
That's why a lot of his songs sound like he's constantly in pain, because he really was constantly in pain.
The man moaned the blues. I mean,
literally.
He was in pain. And it was a shame, he, especially with the Grand Ole Opry, he loved the Grand Ole Opry so much, but they kicked him off because he was so drunk, he was so dependent on alcohol. But very sad story. I know that's very much past our time, and like our, way older.
There's a generational gap there. I'll give you that.
But we tend to listen to stuff that's beyond our years.
We do. I like that stuff.
And mainly because today's generation of music
fucking sucks.
So I mean,
And never mind, today's generation's like, oh my God, Taylor Swift. Which, by the way, I'm still kind of wondering.
It's not country music.
It's not country music, but is Taylor Swift really human? I also have that question.
You brought that up earlier because about her belly button. She doesn't show her belly button.
No, and I'm wondering, did the Skynet not give her one, or what?
I don't know.
Also, I'm wondering if her and the Kardashians are actually really just really high-tech robots sent from the future to destroy us all through their shittiness.
Well, Kim Kardashian's a hobbit.
Kim Kardashian's a hobbit, literally?
You know, watch that South Park episode, The Hobbit?
No, I was really thinking
Andy.
You were like, they found evidence where the Kardashians were back in a cave and they were hobbits. Because that would be cool.
Hobbits real?
I've read somewhere on the Discovery Channel that they did find evidence of actual hobbits.
Well, I mean,
in New Zealand.
I doubt there's a race, but I mean, they probably would just.
No, I think it was a race.
It just shows the evolution of humans.
I really think it was a race. No, okay, maybe it wasn't a race of hobbits, but because if so, I want to go to Middle Earth to live. Because maybe everything,
Australia is pretty much like Middle Earth because, I mean, fuck, they got spiders, they got fucking health bars, they're so damn big.
They do, I know. But that's cool, though. Huh.
Fucking nope. What is this? We're watching just an audio synthesizer.
Something called a Phantom S keyboard by Roland, the Slavic 07. Yeah, leaving YouTube on a random playlist really offers for some entertaining shit.
There's a picture of ninjas on the top right corner of this little keyboard. It looks like a little MIDI keyboard that's used for synthesizers, and it has like just a, it shows like the outline of what this keyboard looks like. But there's a picture of two ninjas sword fighting in the upper right. I do not know what is up with that, but okay.
So, we're on top of being big, being music aficionados and being.
That's a big word.
Yeah, that was a big word. Thank you. I looked it up before you got back.
Oh shit.
Being music aficionados, we're also and movie aficionados. We're also very big into video games. Yeah.
We're gonna watch GTA 4 in
Russian.
In Russian.
But in with respect to this video, the main character is Russian.
Well, no shit.
Nico Bellicec.
He's a what? I thought it was Eastern European.
No, he's Russian.
I thought they never said he was Russian. I thought they said Eastern European.
I don't know, but they got. I would love to see. I would love to see that fake movie that was just on the GTA 4 Weapon X.
People can do some pretty cool shit with like the mods on GTA 4 and 5 on the PC.
Do you know that the mod
yet,
for GTA 4, man? Did you ever remember seeing after it was released how real it looked? My God!
Oh yeah, you could do some crazy stuff.
And it was almost like once GTA 5 came out, it caught up with that.
I just got run over by a train.
But GTA 5 on the PS4 supposedly looks even better. I haven't played that yet.
Well, they're is 5 released for the computer yet? PC?
I'm not sure.
I know they're making it. I know they're porting it.
I'd have to look that up.
But I'm
not sure exactly.
People this is just for PC only. But if you had, I'm sure they'll have it for 5. But people that had GTA 4 on the PC, which I did, and had mods for it, you could, if your graphics card could handle it, it is definitely on par with today's graphics, if not better.
Maybe if not better.
Yeah, which as far as the normal the benchmark, it was pretty much what our benchmark is, if not better.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to discuss a topic with you. It's kind of a hot topic on the internet. I've heard it kind of discussed on YouTube by various different YouTubers. What's your take on microtransactions in video games, man?
I think they're I don't like them. It ruined the game industry, in my opinion. I mean, of course, it lines the pockets of the gaming companies.
Right, but okay,
screws over the average. It screws over the gamer.
Well, it kind of does.
You spend $60 for a game.
That's what I was getting ready to say.
You play through the gameplay, and it's like, okay, we're gonna add 2 hours of DLC. And we're going to charge you $15-$20 for it. I mean, and people buy it, especially on hot titles, hot releases. And I have to say, I mean, I've bought DLC, but it's something to get more. If I have to really be into the game to buy DLC for it. But a lot of things people just make these hot titles, and people just buy the DLC.
Some DLCs are actually pretty cool because they could be continuations, but. Some DLC for I'm sorry, but I'm not going to pay $10 just to get my character to look differently cosmetically. I mean, that doesn't make a difference to me, really.
And the thing about DLC doesn't really bother me as much them charging for it because they had to develop additional things for the game. Outside the normal storyline.
Right.
They put more time into it. So, I mean, you're paying for the time.
Right, you're paying for what you get.
That really doesn't bother me as much as...
the DLC for Infamous Second Son where you got to play as Fetch.
As long as the DLC is of good quality and they're not just trying to rip you off.
Right.
But what bothers me mostly about microtransactions is mostly online games that offer pay to win. Hey... spend $20 and you'll have this awesome upgrade or you'll have this awesome weapon and no one will be able to kill you unless they have paid the money as well to, it's pay to win.
Alright, so I'm playing Assassin's Creed Unity right now, which I have to say the graphics are beautiful. Gameplay is not so bad. It's a little glitchy in parts, but it is pretty good.
On PS4?
On PS4, yeah. The graphics, like I say, are awesome. I love how many people... When you walk through the town of Paris, it actually feels alive. I mean, the city of Paris, I guess. But when you walk through the city, it actually feels like Paris circa 1700s. I mean, it feels alive.
is Paris like? Obviously, it's in France, but is Paris the only city that's in the game?
Yeah, but it's so massive. Like, I mean, it feels like it's got multiple parts to Paris. Plus, you can go to Versailles.
Okay, so
So I mean, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
No
Paris and
hunting in this
Versailles.
one, no nothing like that. But they did bring back the fact that you can customize the way your assassin looks from Assassin's Creed 2, so that's pretty cool. But, you know, like for instance, okay, say I want a better weapon, okay? Now, I can hit a button on there called hack and spend real money to get fake in-game money to buy better stuff.
so that's horseshit.
Do you think so?
I think it's horseshit. I think that whenever they should have gave you the options to upgrade your weapons like inside the game, like, you know, pay the currency in the game.
Well, you can.
You can, but you can just surpass that.
You can circumvent that and just go ahead and get better
Okay.
shit just about.
Well,
so basically, if you got more money than another gamer, you know, then if you're playing with somebody online, then they're going to have better weapons.
So this
than you.
works online as well.
Yeah, you can play co-op.
Okay,
online.
is there any PvP and then just all
No,
co-op?
just all co-op.
Well, still that's still kind of. I think it's still kind of horseshit, but because it's you get to pay to be better than somebody.
Exactly.
You gotta, you get to.
But now, like if I grind and do as much, do a lot
feel
of
like
side
you get
missions.
more accomplished. You get more accomplished if you actually spend the time, do your side missions, do whatever, and pay for your upgrade via.
Right. If I do the story and do the side missions,
But-
I make the money in, let's say, 5 or 6 hours while I'm playing.
But you know, there's always going to be that guy that has his grandmother able to buy everything for him.
That's right. Yeah,
And,
yeah.
You know, like some people we know. But
Right. Right. And yeah.
which I mean, if you got it, I guess. But I mean, shit.
But I mean, yeah. But at the same time, I mean, as a gamer, I mean, I like to feel like I have actually accomplished something. You know what I'm saying? Because if I'm going to spend 20, 30 hours in a video game, I mean, I know this is going to sound really retarded, but for all intents and purposes, you assume that role of that character.
It's
You
like
know,
with any RPG.
you kind of develop. I mean, really in any game, sort of. I mean, like Far Cry 4, for instance. By the time I was near the end of Far Cry 4, I really felt like I was AJ Gale. Okay, I was like, I'm a badass fucking Tibetan warrior and shit. And really, I'm not, because I'm really just sitting here in my boxers with no arms and legs, and I'm like, not really that badass. But
to say, sorry to interrupt you, but he is not currently sitting in his boxers. If he was, I wouldn't be here right
no,
now.
I am actually fully clothed. But
Thank God.
yeah, thank Jesus
I'm going to
for
give you
that.
all a visual at home, and of course, once we get a little bit set up more, we're going to have a video of our podcast as well. But
And there'll be some various other formats we're going to be on.
oh
Twitch,
yeah,
I
we're
think
going to start
expand
going
to, right?
to Twitch
YouTube.
and things like that, playing some games online. But just for at home listeners right now, to give a visual before you actually see him, this man, even though he has no arms, no legs, he's just a torso and a head, he has the most hair on a person, on chest hair, I've ever seen in my entire life. It looks like a fucking quadriplegic bear, if you will. Black bear. And,
Now, are
words
you
can't describe.
are you aware with familiar? Or if you heard anything about the game called H1Z1? It's a zombie survival horror game that is
I have
a
not.
massive multiplayer online. Have you?
I have not heard that.
Okay, well, basically, I know what people are very.
Is it going to be like DayZ, or is it going
No,
to be
no,
like
no.
more of a
This is
MMO
basically
element?
an MMO, kind of like well, not really like WoW, I guess, because WoW is actually good.
Is this game not going to be good, or is it?
Well, I mean, I've heard it's good, but like the microtransactions, like
So it's going to be a microtransaction.
it's a microtransaction game. It's not
okay.
free to play, however. I don't think. I'd have to do my research on that. I'm not exactly 1% sure,
I'll have to
but I'm
look
pretty
that up.
sure that it's you do the in-game microtransactions as well as paying for the game, which. I mean, maybe if I'm not mistaken, it might be you pay the base price, which whatever a video game costs.
But they're not going
PC.
to charge a monthly fee.
I'm not exactly sure about that. Again, I only kind of heard about this game in passing, so I have to look up the specifics.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, from what I understand, it's basically about a
Sorry, there's Future Hunters. What the fuck
Future
is this?
Hunter clip on YouTube.
Is that Swayze?
No, that's some Chinese guy who looks
No,
like
not the Chinese guy, but the other guy with the mullet. No,
no, that's not
the Chinese
Swayze.
guy.
That's not Swayze.
Not
Even though
him.
Roadhouse looks this bad.
No, the guy with the blue jeans and the mullet. No, that's not. Okay, never mind.
That's not Patrick Swayze.
From
It's a-
behind, it looked like.
It's a Patrick Swayze lookalike.
From behind, it looked like the Swayze.
Robert Patrick is who that is. Fucking T2, man.
Okay. He looks like the Swayze in this movie.
He looks like the Swayze. God rest his soul.
Roadhouse.
But no, I've just heard about this game in passing, and basically what the controversy surrounding this game is that it is it's got microtransactions where you can buy different weapons and stuff. So basically, if you grind and do what you're supposed to in an MMO, you can already get these weapons. If you go ahead and pay for that, then you can potentially be better than the other players.
Right.
Which, do I think that's fair? Do you think it's fair? I don't.
Not at all. Especially not in an MMO setting. Definitely not at all. It's about like private server levels. Whether these MMO RPGs have private servers that are not.
They're not dedicated.
Yeah, they're not ran by the company that made the game. They're ran on their own code that their own developers put into the game to try to mimic the actual retail game.
Now I know that
a lot of them have the options to donate because they can't legally charge for it, but they can also have the option to donate. And sometimes the donors can pay to have crazy ultra powered weapons.
And gear, but now if you're willing to pay on someone's private server, that's a little different than just being in game with everyone else with your average Joe.
Yeah,
I mean, that's in my estimation.
On a private server, you could actually have the crazy ultra powerful stuff and go against other people. Like I played on a WoW server, a private server a long time ago, and probably around 2007, 2008.
Now, for those of you that just a little backstory on Beckett. We have been playing, when I was in high school, he was in high school, we played a lot of MMO. We played a lot of...
Star Wars Galaxy was the first
Star Wars Galaxy was probably the first one we started playing, which is SOE. Fuck you.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Julio Torres, you prick.
One of the best MMOs ever. Today
was ruined.
Today it wouldn't go so well because they didn't hand shit out to you on silver platter.
No,
like WoW does today.
No, like WoW.
WoW didn't start off like that either. But that's a different topic for a different day. But you actually had to work. It was a time sink. We are big nerds for liking shit like that. But hey, we love Star Wars. So I mean,
it was kind of like
it was ruined.
So when we're playing through, Star Wars Galaxies back in the day, we thought it was fucking cool to be able to go see the Sand Dragon fossil, which we only saw in passing in Episode 4. To go be able to actually see that, to go see the Tusken,
the Krayt Dragon. You go to the Tusken Raider base.
Go to the Tusken Raider base. Yeah.
Pretty much everything that was in Episode. Water.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Pretty much everything that was in episodes 4, 5, and 6. You saw. Then of course. The later expansions, of course, there was Jump to Light Speed, which that still was, 4, 5, and 6. But whenever they started adding Rage of the Wookiees and Trials of Obi-Wan, that got into episodes 2 and 3. But
and which in defense, because I played a lot longer than you did, I think.
We're going
back
retro.
To WoW. We are going retro, but retro's fun. So fuck you. Well, at least we're not talking about RuneScape. So.
Oh God.
Or Maple Leaf. Maple Story.
I was gonna say RuneScape. Me and Cody played that. Our best friend, God rest his soul, great guy. Me and him actually played RuneScape for a short time. You reminded me. We actually had paid $5 a month memberships. Me and him in high school.
And that was cheap back in the day, wasn't it?
It was cheap. Yeah, I mean, you can
for a pen and paper game.
For that game, it actually is very immersive for the platform that they made it on. But I was going to say
Flash.
That's kind of a backstory, but
Flash, yeah. For the most part, it was Flash.
Shockwave or something like that.
Shockwave,
something like that. But yeah, freaking I remember going fishing at some fucking village and selling lobsters for 200k currency on the game, and just farming lobsters and getting my fishing skill up, then making 5 million campfires to get my fire making skill up.
But now, see, back in.
God.
Wow, what do you do in video games? Remedial tasks that I can do in real fucking life.
Make fire, collect bones, kill cows.
Anyway, but back in
their skin and their steak.
Back in the day, and I Steam was just starting to take off.
Right.
So when we downloaded games, I remember we'd have to actually go to the actual website to direct download.
Well, not really many people offer direct download then either.
Yeah, that's true. I think I direct downloaded Jump to Light Speed.
Well, yeah, through the SOE
through the LucasArts SOE. It was SOE server.
It was because the SOE was the ones that did direct download.
Right.
That's when we tried to do the NGE.
Yeah,
because the NGE came out right before Trials of Obi-Wan.
Right. That didn't work out so well.
But yeah, definitely did not. It was so buggy, it wasn't even right.
And not only that, they tried to make it less buggy. I remember for a while they added new animations, so when you would take off in a forced run, it would actually have lightning under your feet. Some cool shit, but just poorly
make a Jedi as soon as you start the fucking game.
Yeah, and then back in the day, you actually used to have to stack skills on top of skills in order to actually unlock the Jedi
It was
skill.
the biggest bitch of a grind ever. That's why people oftentimes got the very beginning of it, and then was like, "Fuck this!" It was just hours.
Fuck this! I'm going Terrace Kazi.
People, either Terrace Kazi or Bounty Hunter, but
Yeah.
and they removed Terrace Kazi and CU2, but
or Smuggler. People did pick Smuggler sometimes, but that was the most boring.
But the thing about it was, it's just like it was such a grind fest that people, the first Jedi didn't even get the first Jedi. They didn't even, the game never even made it to have a master. As far as people could get was a knight. But the first Jedi Knight didn't even come about on retail servers until almost after, it was almost the Raise the Wookiees. It was
NGE.
No, it was before NGE, but it was.
This was when it was.
I'm talking about when people was able doing the way of unlocking Jedi before you could just.
This is kind of when it was actually a full-fledged third-person action adventure RPG.
Yeah, before you could make an instant Jedi, whenever you had to grind it, which the original grind was like hollow grinding, what they called it. But then
because you had to go find the holodisc.
But then they kind of nerfed it down to make it easier. But even then,
once you finished your legacy quest, you were pretty much a Jedi.
But even then, the actual first Jedi Knight didn't even come up until it was maybe. It might have been 6 months, I think, somewhere in that time frame before NGE even came out. So I mean, it was a big fucking time sink. But that's ancient history.
Now, did you play Old Republic, the Old Republic MMO at all?
I hated it with a passion. I actually got invited to open beta, and it was buggy as shit. BioWare. The BioWare usually has some decent voice acting, but
BioWare has some decent products.
But in this, it was just like
Mass Effect #awesome.
But in this game, the element in this game, the voice acting, the voice acting was good. Just the mouth animations were just not spot on. And playing as the Sith, it was just a nightmare. I tried playing as the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
And I tried on beta. I tried playing as a Sith, and I also tried playing as a bounty hunter, which you don't really start off as a bounty. You kind of start off as a cop, but it was just the bounty hunter was repetitive, but it could have been all right. I didn't really get too far, but with a Sith, it reminded me of Robot Chicken on the fucking Star Wars specials. It was just something dark side, go kill so and so, collect his lightsaber, blah 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 blah. It was just fucking every single, because it's set in the Old Republic, so there's more than one Sith, but every single fucking Sith Lord you talked
sounded like a bad 90s voice acting in video games, yes.
Fucking horrible.
Speaking of bad acting in 90s video games,
what the fuck are we watching now?
Okay, back to our YouTube randomized feed here. It's some black and white. It looks like some black and white home movie that some pervert shot in his basement.
But it looked like
in Russia.
It was set in a current time period.
And we're getting another one. I wonder who these fucking people are.
Slavic 07, that same. You're on Slavic 07's playlist. So evidently, this guy has as much of an Arnold fetish as you do, because we've been on this guy's playlist for a while. So it's some folks in Mother Russia eating some borscht and bear, and they're singing.
I learned an interesting fact the other night. Do you know actually, it's not safe to really eat bear because where they hibernate the parasites in their system. If you go to a restaurant and actually order bear, they make you sign a waiver.
Really?
Because you could potentially contract a parasite.
I did not know that.
Me neither. That's an interesting fact, though.
I was want to try a bear, but I heard it's kind of greasy and fatty.
Yeah, so for any of you rednecks out there that want to go kill a bear tonight, just remember, you could get a flesh-eating parasite that could turn you into a zombie.
We do have black bears in West Virginia.
We do have black bears in West Virginia.
So is this only if, does this parasite go away, or is it just during certain, how, squirrels and deer get warbles? Is it something similar to that where it will go away?
From what I understand, it could kill you if it's the right parasite.
Snap.
Oh, snap is the shit.
So
anyway, but speaking of what I was talking about, have you played the recent AAA title video game, The Evil Within?
No, I don't really play much like AAA titles like from like on console.
Okay, well, Evil Within, great graphics, good presentation. Overall premise is pretty good, but the story fucking sucks. And I will say, for the voice talent they got, they were like wooden acting like Anakin Skywalker in Episode 3 when him and Padme are arguing over who loves each other more. Like, I love you. No, I love you more, Padme. I love you more,
Hold
Anakin.
me like you did by the lake of Naboo, whatever fucking, I don't know.
Hold me like you did by the lake at Naboo.
Yeah.
And at which point he should have took out his lightsaber and chopped her head off. But anyway.
Well, that's because George Lucas is a horrible fucking writer. Great director, horrible writer.
Well, we're about ready to, we'll touch on another topic here later, but right now.
But so what is this like the Evil Within? Is it like a
it was
horror,
made, it's a survival horror game. It's an action survival horror game, but it kind of goes back to the basics of the original Resident Evil. You know, item management and
like Silent Hill meets.
Kinda, yeah. Silent Hill meets Resident Evil, but you know, definitely item management and resource management skills are definitely needed.
Are they zombies or just demon possessed people?
Zombies and kind of like
the Evil Within suggests demonic possession.
Well, kind of demons, kind of zombies, kind of just crazy fucking people.
Twilight
rednecks.
Vampires.
No Twilight vampires. It's like crazy fuckers, basically.
Wrong Turn.
Kind of Wrong Turnish in a way, except for in like Eastern, wherever the fuck it's set.
Wrong Turn 1 or Wrong Turn 5?
Have you seen Wrong Turn 5?
No, I just know there's a shit ton of them.
Wrong Turn 5 is actually not that bad.
Really? I'll tell you actually a funny story about Wrong Turn. This is taking us back to when me and Cody was still alive. And me and Cody, he rented, this is when Blockbuster was a thing, kids. So for all you
young folks out there who don't know what it's like to actually go into a video store.
We're still young, but I mean, for
the younger crowd.
Very young. Blockbuster was a thing, and you actually had to go to a video rental store, and you had to rent your movies. This was before Blu-ray, so they had DVDs then, but
DVDs and VHSs.
Yes, which VHS or DVDs were already the main thing at this point, but still no Blu-rays yet.
Yeah, this is before you could go to a Redbox and get what you wanted instantly for $1.
Redbox is the closest thing that you will get to a Blockbuster.
Actual renting a movie now.
Other than that, you got Netflix,
and you can on demand shit, which now everybody's used to hitting a button and being like, "Ooh, instant movie."
Yeah. Everything's so just like that.
Everything's taken off, man.
Anyways, you remember the scene in?
We talking Wrong Turn 2 or
Wrong Turn 1?
Okay, Wrong Turn.
Desmond
Harrington and Eliza Dushku.
I don't know. It just reminded me so much. Like so funny.
Stan Winston actually directed.
Whenever that one, like little skinny crazy one, is up in the trees, like like all this freaking crazy yelling.
Three finger, yeah.
Hooping and hollering. Me and Cody probably laughed for a good solid like 15-20 minutes at
that.
It
was cheesy as shit and made fun of West Virginia.
I mean, and actually, there's a big urban legend but like a myth that movie was shot in West Virginia. It really wasn't.
No, it really was not.
I actually looked up actually, I don't know why, because somebody told me about it and said, it was shot in West Virginia, here's where it was shot at. I've come to realize that a lot of hick towns, a lot of redneck towns, they look the same.
They really do.
And I should look
whether it be in Georgia, Alabama, California, or Germany.
Northern California, they can have, even New York has rednecks up in northern New York. But anyways, a lot of the small towns, they look the same. And I actually looked up the film locations. I forget the state and the city or town or whatever, but it wasn't West Virginia. Like the general store that was shown.
Yeah.
People's like, oh, I know that store. That's over in somewhere up in Mingo County or wherever the fuck God-forsaken place that... I'm not even going to insult West Virginia too bad on that one.
For the record, we are proud to be West Virginians. Well, sort of. But you know, it does kind of leave a bad taste in your mouth when something makes fun of your home state.
There is a reason why stereotypes exist, because it's happened at one point or another.
Right.
And honestly, I mean, we have shoes. Well, you don't, but I mean, we're all not a bunch of toothless hillbillies that don't wear shoes and will drive around like the fucking Clampets. We're not. And like
some of us are actually intelligent,
but there is places in this state where you will think that God has forsaken it, and I'm not joking. I'm not going to name towns, but we have two. Okay, Our capital is Charleston, West Virginia. For you folks at home, if you got the time, if you're bored, look up how big Charleston, West Virginia is. You would laugh at even barely calling it a city. Okay,
but we live in Huntington, West Virginia.
Huntington, West Virginia. It's barely a city. I don't even think it should be called a town. But it's the second largest metropolitan area in West Virginia.
But hold on, that's not necessarily because of Huntington, West Virginia itself. That's because we live in the tri-state area, which encompasses Ashland, Lawrence County, which would be Ironton and South Point, which also count as towns, Proctorville, and all that. Which, so I mean, this is.
But the thing about it is, but the actual city of West Virginia itself, to be the second largest city in a state, it's pretty bad.
Well, yeah, but we have sprouted up a little bit. We got some tech
I'll
stuff
give you that.
moving here.
It has improved since I wasn't alive then, but our parents or grandparents tell us that it kind of hit a economic rut since like the 70s because the steel and iron and coal is pretty much going to shit. But I mean, other than that, it's trying to make a bounce back. All right, finally we got a different playlist going on. It's Friday the 13th.
It is the theme song from Friday the 13th Part 3, which is the first techno kind of inspired theme song.
Only this son of a bitch right here would know these types of things.
But the funny thing about the original Friday the 13th Part 3 is it was in 3D. Now, most people are thinking, holy shit, 3D, but not the 3D you're thinking of today, like Avatar. This was the old red and green, or red and blue, or whatever you want to say it. Analoglyph 3D. You remember the plastic cardboard glasses?
It was like they can only have like one big frame come at you rather than like multiple
right. They couldn't do really depth, but and it's also the cheesiest out of the Friday the 13th, I might add.
Oh yeah.
Well, not as cheesy as Jason Takes Manhattan, which actually should really be called
Jason X.
Jason X is pretty fucking cheesy.
I do remember as a kid though, watching that on DVD, and this when DVDs are fairly
new.
Yeah, fairly new. And maybe been a couple years.
Back in 2002.
And like they was because before then there was Laserdisc kids, which no one could afford.
And no one even knew who the fuck that is.
Yeah, no one hardly fucking had so people.
No, hold on. Oh, well, actually, I do remember Mr. Roberts' 6th grade science class.
Oh,
he had a Laserdisc player.
Yeah. Okay.
For Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah, okay.
The fact that Bill Nye made it to fucking Laserdisc says a lot.
That says a lot, which he never really played it, though. It was probably just too expensive for him to break out too often.
Break out too often. Only on special occasions we watch Laserdisc. Which are the size of records.
Only on special occasions can we watch Bill Nye the Science Guy on Laserdisc. Well, it was pretty much like a record, but it was digital. Like
they came in record...
it was in sleeves out. It was just like a...
But they were digital.
You had to flip it over to play the other side of the movie. Yeah.
But they were digital recordings, though.
Yeah, digital recordings. But I mean,
which is pretty amazing.
Pretty much like a digital record. Makes no sense, but
no, it makes no sense. But, thank God we moved on to DVDs,
Blu-rays,
Blu-rays. Which I mean, I like Blu-rays.
I love my 1080p.
But the thing about it is, hell, now I stream in 1080. So really, do I need to buy movies that much anymore?
Not really. I mean.
Not unless you just have to have a physical copy.
There's some movies that you can't get on stream, like unless you got to pay for the digital stream.
Right. But I mean,
it's like renting.
That's something like $14.99, versus a $20 Blu-ray. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, but
you gotta have you gotta make sure your internet speed is constantly great. Just
thank God. And that's something else I want to touch on. Now we're sworn with.
I'm gonna ask you, do they throttle your internet over here?
No, they don't.
Good. That's great, because I might just move to West Virginia. Hell, I might just move to West Virginia because over where I live.
Comcast doesn't throttle your internet. My mom, where she lives up in northern West Virginia, New Martinsville.
Yeah,
which probably knows where the fuck that hick town is. Y'all want to talk hick towns? Visit New Martinsville.
All the small areas, like Armstrong.
Suddenlink throttles your internet. Yeah, Armstrong might. I don't know.
They do. I got Armstrong, and I live in even the Proctorville
it's a surrounding area, but it's still
we don't get Comcast over, and we're just right across the river, the Ohio River, from each other. But yeah, they throttle our internet, and they also cap it. They charge you $10 per 50 gigabytes. If you go over the cap, which I think my cap is like 250 or 300 gigs a month.
That's not bad, but that's still too.
That still kind of pisses me off.
That's shitty because if you if you play
I'm
online
already paying $50 a month
for internet,
to
why
have
should I have to
internet.
pay more? Yeah, that was something else I was going to touch on about the capping.
Which really, playing games online don't really hurt your cap, but streaming, which I'm sure all of y'all know this with smartphones, iPhones, especially if you're on Verizon or AT&T, you got a data limit, and if you're on YouTube constantly streaming in HD, you're probably gonna have a pretty fucking high bill. I'm just saying.
You're just saying, yeah.
Unless you're one of those lucky fuckers that got locked into a legacy account that has unlimited data on AT&T or Verizon, and you just buy your phones off Craigslist, you are lucky. But everyone else that had to upgrade and get a new contract, have fun with that.
Yeah, have fun with that. Actually, that was a plot and spoiler alert. That was a plot in fucking Kingsman where they were where Samuel Jackson's Valentine character was offering free internet. However, when he activated the signal, everybody turned into just beating the shit out of each other for population control.
Wow, I mean, on plots that make no fucking sense whatsoever. I mean, I guess Wi-Fi, 3G waves, whatever the fuck is just melting our brains and making us zombies.
He chipped people like the beast or whatever from Revelations.
Bible?
Yeah, is that where it's from?
Yes.
Okay.
The Revelations is in the Bible, but okay.
Okay, yes, the Bible.
Okay,
that book.
For all you folks at home, you can obviously tell Zach is not a theologist when it comes to the Bible. Yeah, I'm not really either, but I do know a little bit about the Bible, which I'm not going to touch because, religion is just a touchy subject that I like to avoid because I just do. What's it? The 9 themes of Friday the 13th.
Yes, the 9 themes. It shows the themes in all the movies, man.
On that note, I'm going to grab another beer.
It's Friday the 13th. I think that we should.
Well, I know
we should celebrate a little bit, which is why it's infused within the podcast tonight.
I agree, but I think we should be watching Friday the 13th, the original.
I can do that too.
I know we can, but I'm just.
Yeah, I'll punch that up. All real
right.
quick.
You
movie snob.
Punch that bitch up. I'm not a movie snob. I kind of am, but
yes, he is.
I don't like horror movies, which I can tolerate. Jason and Freddy and Michael Myers. They're just they're not scary, but like whenever it comes to like demon possession, Satan shit, like in horror movies. I don't like it.
Becca's like, fuck that, I'm not doing that.
No, because like, especially when dealing with stuff like that, it just, you don't want to think that it's real. It may not be real, it may be real, but you don't want to think that. At least you know that most likely, unless the guy's just absolutely off his fucking meds, there's not going to be a guy in a hockey mask and a painter suit coming after you with a machete. But the possibility of, hey, there might be some paranormal or demonic beings out there that, if I do the wrong thing, they might just fucking eat my face off and drag me to hell. So... And
that feels more real to you than a guy in a hockey mask who's going to kill you.
I'm just saying...
And a pissed off goalie?
I'm not a highly religious person, but...
And kids, is boredom with Michael Beckett.
There's a lot of stories that go on with like that kind of shit. I just don't like watching it.
Theology with Beckett. Now we are bored out of those skulls.
I'm not doing theology. I'm just saying.
Okay, now.
The fucking creeps.
Also, and I'm going to start this one off, but Becky, you're an Archer fan, correct?
Oh, what fan?
You're an Archer fan, yeah. Archer fan.
Archer the show, yeah.
Yeah. We're Archer fans here.
The animated series.
The animated series on FX to those who are unaware, and it is the funnest show on TV, although it is minorly offensive. Well, I won't even say minorly. It is very offensive, actually. Archer is a complete and utter. He's an asshole, but it's one of the. What do you think about the current season, man? You been watching the current season?
I have not watched the current season. I need to watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I've been watching Better Call Saul. Like I watched.
And how is the spinoff of
Breaking Bad?
Breaking Bad, yeah.
Breaking Bad, in my opinion, is better. Like at least from the which Better Call Saul is very new. It just came out. this past Sunday. But
now, was there 2 episodes on Sunday, or was there?
It was one on Sunday and one on Monday.
That's what I thought.
The regular time, is
it only a 30-minute show or an hour?
It's an hour.
Okay, an hour long.
And the regular time is going to be on Mondays at 9 or 10, something like that. 9 or 10 on Mondays.
Well, there you go, kids. If you're interested in Better Call Saul, then
if you like Breaking Bad, you will like Better Call Saul.
Then Better Call Saul is going to fuck you in your eye pussies because it's awesome.
Nice, but eye pussies, but
hashtag eye pussies.
Hashtag
trending.
eye pussy. but like the first episode of Breaking Bad, I liked more than the first episode of Better Call Saul. But I do like that it gives more. I mean, of course, it's based around Saul, so it gives a backstory of him. Of course, his name is Jimmy McGill, so people that might not know that his real name is Jimmy McGill. But anyways, great show. I recommend it.
Okay, so now, like I say, we're going to be infusing some commentary throughout the rest of the podcast, which I think we got another 20 or 30 minutes we're going to broadcast, and we're going to wrap this thing up. But we're going to infuse a little commentary on this 35-year-old movie known as Friday the 13th. Now, I love how this movie starts out with them singing Hallelujah, Kumbaya, and the 2 camp counselors give each other the freaky ass thing, go fuck.
There's a reason why they call
There's definitely a Jesus message in this movie, I think.
I don't think there's any Jesus undertones, but
because I do.
I think it just they're just kind of making a pun, poking fun at like camp. Maybe all types of camps, like church camp and summer camp. Because I mean,
do people fuck in church camp?
You'd be surprised.
I want to go.
We're too old for church camp.
Damn it!
I mean, it's like this. Counselors are fucking, but I mean,
those counselors are fucking.
I mean, but the thing about it is, if you're in this situation, you'd be fucked because you can't climb up the hay ladder.
That's true. That's true. But no, I really do think there are religious undertones in Friday the 13th, and I'll tell you why. Maybe. You want to hear my reasoning?
What's this?
Okay. In every Friday the 13th movie, I think these serve as cautionary tales. Like if you veer from the path of righteousness, if you go have premarital sex, if you smoke weed, if you drink.
Man in a hockey mask will come and kill you with a machete?
Pretty much. Nice. Is
so
Jason
is Satan?
No, I won't say that Jason is Satan, but Jason is this supernatural, maybe force of vengeance. Like he's a force of nature. And another interesting thing in every Friday the 13th movie, every time Jason is coming, there's also a storm that's approaching. Just a little factotum for you.
I did not know that.
Yeah, in every one of them. If you go back and watch the original 8 movies. I'm not sure. Yeah, maybe in 9, but I don't know. But in the original 8 movies and the remake, if you watch them, even in Freddy vs. Jason, and when the movie starts out, it's raining. In every movie, for the most part, when Jason approaches, or his mother in the first one, of course, approaches, there is a storm moving into Crystal Lake.
Nice.
So I ask you, is Jason a force of nature, or
maybe his mother was highly religious.
Possibly,
and that kind of instilled into him.
I
mean, they always kill the fornicators, the drinkers,
right?
Smokers.
But
I take it into consideration. It's never been touched upon, I don't think, but which they ultimately survive usually at the end of the movie. The do-gooders, the virgins, and the do-gooders. Mm-hmm. Okay, but why do they still target them? Are they just still that psycho that they're targeting innocent people that don't do anything wrong?
Well, I think that's a good question, actually. Why they're still maybe.
I mean, they always survive.
They always
survive, these movies,
but Jason's still coming.
They come after everybody.
Whether maybe it's just a test. Maybe if they stop him, okay, they get to live. But
so
once
they're going to stand still and be like, okay, I'm not doing anything wrong, and see if he stabs him or not.
Well, no, I really think that he probably would. It's kind of like a test. I mean, if you were to think about it in biblical terms, which, I mean, I'm not getting too biblical with Friday the 13th, but if you're thinking about biblical terms, it is kind of a task from God, maybe. Okay, like, you're surviving because you're a good person, but you're still going to have to go through this trial. You get what I'm saying? Of stopping this serial killer, this unstoppable killer. But, in every one, like I say, Jason still kind of returns from the grave. His mother came and exacted her revenge, or took out her vengeance on the camp counselors because they're trying
in the hayloft.
They're fucking up in the hayloft, and those were the ones that caused her son to drown back in 1951 or 57.
The counselors.
And in this one, and this is something I don't understand. I will have to say this because it's touched upon here in a few minutes when the creepy trucker is driving the young 20-something out to camp, and he says, "That's a bad idea, Christie, opening that fucking place. I mean, the kid got drowned in 57, the two counselors were murdered in 58, bunch of fires in between." And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, why in the fuck does Mrs. Voorhees wait all the way till 1980 to kill this Mr. Christie guy?
Is this movie set in 1980?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why did she wait all the way to 1980? Why didn't she just kill Steve back when he was trying to open the place? But anyway...
I was quoting Pet Sematary there, sorry.
I mean, like I say, I think it's a cautionary tale, a lot of them are, Jason is the force of nature. He's the hand of God in a weird way.
You hear that, kids? Don't drink, don't smoke, don't have premarital sex, because Jason Voorhees will kill you.
But we are in the real world, and I don't think that really happens. But I'm just saying, it is kind of a cautionary tale. You stray from the path of righteousness, you get a machete up the ass. I mean, not literally.
That sounds kinky, but... Okay, so a question, since you're the horror movie guy. You know how they call it, campy movies, horror, that term, campy horror movies? Was this the first of the genre?
No, actually, well...
I mean, I know what Halloween came out in the late 70s, didn't it? But
Halloween came out, yeah.
That wasn't really campy, that was like kind of a slasher.
No, Halloween came out first, and Halloween was a slasher, but what a lot of people don't know, and I'm going to go back even further here, Psycho and a movie before that, the year before Psycho came out, a movie called Peeping Tom, which was made by Michael Powell, and he was in England. He was an England director, London director, whatever you want to call it, English director, whatever. Anyway, he directed this movie, and it was the first movie ever shot from the killer's POV. Now, this in effect, because people thought it was so trashy, ruined Michael Powell's career, who was actually a hell of a filmmaker. Ruined his career. He never got work again. Then the next year, Hitchcock came out with Psycho, which a lot of people were like, hey, that is a great thriller. That is the seminal slasher movie. It's kind of like the grandfather to the slasher films. And then we move on to into the early 70s, and Tobe Hooper made Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which a lot of people will consider Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Black Christmas, which was made by Dick Clark, a Canadian director who made Black Christmas. The same
Dick Clark?
No, not Dick Clark with New Year's.
Rockin' New Year here.
No, not Rockin' New Year.
Right.
But Dick Clark, he made it might have been Bob Clark. Anyways, this Dick or Bob Clark. It was a Clark. I know that. Anyway, the guy made...
Bob Hope, was it?
What?
Wasn't Bob Hope, was it?
No, it wasn't Bob Hope either. But anyway, the guy made this movie called Black Christmas, which this came out, if I'm not mistaken, after Texas Chainsaw, but before Halloween. It didn't really do very good, but it was kind of more still in the thriller genre. Before slasher movies were called slash movies, and Halloween was really a slasher movie before it was actually coined slasher. Mm-hmm. Same with Texas Chainsaw. A lot of people will sit and tell you Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the most goriest movie ever made, but if you actually go back and watch that movie, there is not a drop of blood in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right, the original
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, there's really not very much blood at all. There hardly any. The only gory scene I can think of is when Leatherface drops his chainsaw and it falls on his knee, and they have that effect where it saws his knee a little bit. However, interesting fact, it went actually through the pad that they had on there that it was supposed to cut through, and actually cut through Gunnar Hansen's knee a little bit.
Nice. I did not know that.
And then, of course, when John Carpenter came out with Halloween, people were just primed and ready, man. It was a good thrill ride. It was a shock. Everybody could almost in America be like, I had a babysitter at one time.
So we could say that Halloween was the first, or not Halloween, but that Friday the 13th was the first in the campy. Like,
we could say,
kids go to camp, they get killed. I mean, that's all the whole
gist of things, sure. But, Friday the 13th followed in a world that was very self-aware that it came after Halloween. So it was just like, okay, we're not going to go for really suspense. Let's just go for shock and scare. And the interesting thing is, Mrs. Voorhees is the killer in this, but if you watch it and you've never seen this movie before, you wouldn't know that because Mrs. Voorhees is never shown until the end of the movie.
Right.
Never, ever shown. Mm-hmm. So,
Jason doesn't make an appearance until the third one.
No, until the end of this movie. But he only pops out of the water.
Does he start killing in third? Is it the second one?
The second one, but he wears a sack over his head. He doesn't get the hockey mask until the third one.
Okay.
Interesting fact about this too is Jason was actually just meant to be a joke at the end of this movie, kind of like a tag, kind of just like, okay, we're gonna get him with one more scare, but it wasn't ever really meant to go anywhere. Well, when Paramount pressured them to make a second one, they were like, okay, what do we want to do? And the original concept was to make Friday the 13th like an anthology series. Every Friday the 13th or every year, they would come out the new Friday the 13th with a completely unrelated horror theme. It would just be totally unrelated from the next one. But the studio was like, no, we want Jason to be the killer. So they brought back Jason and proffered the suggestion in the second one that he didn't drown in Camp Crystal Lake, that he actually survived.
So they retconned it.
They kind of retconned it.
So he somehow survived to the bottom of the lake?
They say that he didn't actually drown, that he may have floated to shore, and you know what I'm saying? He just didn't die. However people survive drownings, I'm not really fucking sure. I didn't say that it was...
It's Hollywood.
It's Hollywood. I didn't say it was John Wick-like storytelling, but I mean, you know...
is that Kevin Bacon?
That is a young Kevin Bacon. Good eye bucket. That is a Kevin fucking Bacon right there. Baconator.
I did not know who was in this movie. I've seen Friday the 13th a couple times. Like I said, I'm not a big horror guy, even though this isn't scary by any means. No, Jason is scary by any means in my opinion. But I mean, maybe if we was a kid in the 1980s, it might be scary. But I mean.
Yeah, if we were in 1980 getting anal sex, I mean, I would be like...
What the hell does anal sex have to do with...
I'm just saying that, you know, maybe I would think that Jason was going to kill me, but,
like,
you know...
In 1980, receiving anal sex or giving anal sex?
Either or.
I mean, if you like your... Zach Van Devener loves to have his prostate stimulated, folks. Just,
giving. I'm just going to say giving, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now we have the very creepy head camp counselor.
Anal sex has anything to do with 1980s being a teenager. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe they had a lot of anal sex back in 1980.
I don't know.
I'm guessing teen pregnancy was on a rise back then.
Evidently, they didn't have a lot of anal sex because teen pregnancy was on the rise.
Maybe.
People learned to swallow or take it in the butt.
All right, sorry, we're gonna pause. I'm gonna put a stop to the commentary for right now, and I'm gonna go back to something else. Okay. So, you know, like I say, we're big movie watchers too, both of us. So what have you seen? You've seen anything new lately?
God, no. I haven't been to a movie theater. It's bad. So close to the movie theater, but I just never go. I just really don't.
I haven't been in a while either. I went and saw American Sniper.
I heard that was a good flick.
Very, very good movie. Very, very poignant.
Very patriotic, but I mean, it was
very patriotic, but it was also very. I really think the guy deserved it, and it was very awesome. I loved it. I thought it was spectacular. Clint Eastwood knocked it out of the park.
Clint Eastwood is a good director.
He really is a great.
He might be going batshit in his old age, but he is a great director.
Hey,
I mean, he
can still kick your ass.
I wouldn't doubt it. Clint Eastwood is a badass. I give much respect for Clint Eastwood. He is. At his age, he's
pretty fucking sweet.
But he did go a little bit kind of
but now
at the Republican.
Okay, so what I've seen, I haven't really seen much. Like I said, I saw Kingsman last night. I saw American Sniper Kingsman. But really, what I've seen new kind of on the home video field right now, I watched John Wick with Keanu Reeves.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you kill Keanu's dog,
you will die.
He will kill you.
He will shoot you in the face.
Will kill you.
And steal his Shelby Mustang, and he will shoot you in the fucking face.
Do not kill Keanu's dog, folks.
But it was actually, and I want to say this, it was a very good movie. As far as an action ride goes, it was a very good ride. The story may not have been great, but I want to throw this out there. The world that John Wick inhabits, like... there's a hotel called the...
Hotel California?
No, not the Hotel California. Jesus, back at Not an Eagles movie. Called the Continental. And basically it is this hotel that just caters to assassins. And so basically while they're on premises, they can't conduct any business. but they can stay there. They have an on-site doctor, all this. There's also coins, gold coins that act as currency for assassin services, such as like a cleaning crew that comes and cleans up your body count after you're done. So, where did the gold coins come from? I mean, they're making a sequel, so I'd like to see where all this heads into.
They're making a John Wick sequel?
John Wick 2.
Nice.
The Wick gets shorter. I'm assuming that's what it's called. And Keanu Reeves is like, I'm going to kill you even deader.
Dude, you killed my dog in the first movie. Now I'm going to buy me a new dog. Just don't kill it, okay?
He buys a new dog at the end of the first movie.
Okay, do not kill my new dog.
My new dog, or I will fucking kill you again.
I will hack into the Matrix and fuck your shit up.
We'll hack into the Matrix.
Sorry.
Which was a better movie than 47 Ronin.
Okay. Keanu. If he could have someone like overdub his voice in movies. Or just do not speak, like 47 Ronin. Solid action flick based upon, a Japanese folktale or legend, myth, what have you. He didn't say much. That was good.
Also, I'd like to point out, something else I watched. Brad Pitt's Fury, the movie where he's a tank operator.
That was a good movie.
That was a damn good flick. I have to say, excellent filmmaking. That was a good movie. Oh my God.
Yeah. It didn't do very well commercially.
No, but critically, I don't understand why. It was great. Oh my God. Brad Pitt plays a badass war veteran tank operator named War Daddy, which you can always count on Brad Pitt to play a dude with a kick-ass name. The ending when they're all defending that road.
Don't
and he's
spoil the movie for people that haven't seen it.
Spoiler alert. I mean, Brad Pitt was amazing.
They have a big showdown at the end of the fucking movie.
A Walk Among the Tombstones, amazing flick. I gotta say.
God, is that the Liam Neeson one?
Yeah. What?
I like Liam Neeson, but God damn it, it's like only thing he can do now is Taken. Like, I know Walk Among the Tombstones isn't Taken, but it's
I haven't seen Taken 3 yet.
It's God.
Have you?
Yes. No. Anyways, okay. It's just like I know he was really hesitant about doing the second one, and he barely did the third one at all.
That's because they paid him a shit ton of money.
But money, you got to feed the monkey, man. I mean, it's all about the money. But he channels like this character, like, and it's like every action flick, even that one where he got his identity stolen.
Unknown?
Yeah, Unknown. It's like he channels.
You've taken my identity. Now I will kill you.
He channels the same.
Non-stop. I'm on this plane. It better not crash. I'll kill you.
It's like he has just channeled that character. It might be a different plot to an extent. They're not after his family, but I mean, it's just like, it's the same fucking types, like, character that he plays. Just a hard ass that can kill people.
Okay, what else have I seen? Ouija. What can be said for Ouija? Well, nothing can be said for Ouija. It was a good movie, but did nothing to break new ground on the whole, supernatural horror kind of thing.
I probably wouldn't like that movie.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't. I know my friend, certain person doesn't like it because she says that Ouija boards are evil.
I agree with that statement.
Yeah, but I've never really played with the Ouija board. I don't know much about the mythology, but I'm guessing this movie's full of shit. Not really mythology,
but, like, folks, I don't recommend it, but, if you've played with one, tell us your experience.
Oh, we're just hitting all kinds of cautionary tales. Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Tell us your experiences. Pop it in somewhere. We'll have
YouTube,
links where you can talk to us.
Whatever.
YouTube, Facebook us.
Twitter, we're gonna get Twitter.
Tweet some shit.
We're gonna get some Twitter going on too. Yeah.
Hashtag some shit.
This is our very first night, so we're trying to develop a lot of things.
We're trying to develop some ideas, and we just thought tonight we would just run it, make some jokes,
talk about whatever the fuck came to mind.
Hopefully next week, maybe, or whenever we do.
We might have a general outline.
More of a sound show. But for right now, we're just and this might be the thing, because we've hit on some prevalent issues, but we're just enjoying ourselves.
I think that's too. For the people that are listening right now, send us a message. What do you think that we should talk about? What matters to you? What interests you? Whatever topic, and we'll see.
And Becca and I will watch or look at anything you send us, whether it is even gay porn. I'm just saying.
Well, you're alone on that. I mean, that's probably what
I
it
will
smells
check
like.
out your gay porn.
That's why it smelled like semen in here when I walked in.
I'm
It was
just fucking with
it
you.
was
That was a joke, people.
It was a mixture between Arnold and Playgirl.
Anyway, all right, but also Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler.
A fantastic flick.
The Worm, Nightcrawler?
No, Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal in it. Have you not heard of this?
No.
Okay, basically, I'm not going to give the entire spoiler.
I'm a fucking hermit, okay?
I'm not going to give this. I'm not going to spoil it because I believe this movie has to be watched to truly be experienced. But basically, Jake Gyllenhaal plays a guy, a thief out of work. His name's Louis Bloom. He gets sucked into this world of basically filming crime around Los Angeles.
Oh, okay, I've heard of that. He's a reporter, okay.
But not really a reporter. He's a Nightcrawler, which is like freelance.
Okay.
Well, anyways, he ends up making a ton of money doing it, and he resorts to some really bad tactics, and it's an amazing flick, and it's up for the Oscars, and I believe that's one that should earn Best Picture because it actually is fucking good.
I'm going to check that movie out. I know what you're talking about now because I've seen the previews of it. I just didn't recognize the name.
Have you heard of Foxcatcher?
Foxcatcher?
It's about Charles DuPont. It's got Steve Carell in it.
Oh, shit. Yes, I've heard. Yes.
Okay, I want to check that out. I've heard it's actually a really good movie, and Steve Carell does a great job.
Sorry, I was just responding to the bitch getting her throat slit.
We don't even know her name. I think her name was Annie Beckett. How do you know she was a bitch? She could be a sweet woman.
Sorry, I was being derogatory towards women. I'm sure she was a
fantastic person that we never got to know. She may not have had sex. Anyway.
Yeah, because, he might have been on this killing rampage.
Yeah.
Sorry, the beer's kicking in, folks.
It is. It is a little bit. But that's what makes us more entertaining. If not to nobody else, at least ourselves.
I guess. Which I'm going to point out. Okay, I'll admit, I do have a little bit of a drinking problem. And, I get here.
That's not something you should really.
I can admit it.
All right.
I come here without any. I didn't bring any alcohol. I was gonna be good. Zach was like, "Hey, we're gonna do this podcast. We need this podcast." Well, I was planning to do it completely sober. I brought with me a thing of Code Red, Mountain Dew Code Red from Speedway, and I brought my cigarettes. Which I do have a vice. It's smoking and drinking, but mostly I smoke cigarettes. And I'm sitting here, we're talking about, running some ideas, what we're going to do tonight. And Zach goes, hey, there's beer in the refrigerator. Which I left here from last time I was here, a while back. And
there was 2 beers.
There's only 2 cans of beer in this pack of beer. And so 1 apiece, right? And I'm just like, you just realize you opened Pandora's fucking box because you can't tell. It's like telling a heroin addict, like, hey, I know you came over here without any heroin.
You really shouldn't say that so loud.
Well, I'm just saying. Hey, here's some things,
We shouldn't admit to that.
Well, that's not quite that bad, but I'm just saying, like, hey, there's beer in the refrigerator. It's only 2 beers, by the way. I drink 1. Do you think I'm going to quit drinking with 1 beer? No. So, what do? I go to the gas station and buy another 24-pack of beer. It's only natural. And the only reason I'm pacing myself because we're doing a podcast.
Okay, but you have to see Nightcrawler. Check it out.
I'll check it out.
But I want to check out that Foxcatcher movie too about Charles DuPont. Looks like it should be a really good movie. Apparently, this dude was a kooky fucking dude in real life. So, Steve Carell. Apparently, he wears so much makeup it's unrecognizable. But
so what's the premise of Foxcatcher?
Basically, Charles DuPont. He's big into wrestling, like amateur wrestling.
I thought it was wrestling, high school.
Okay, Channing Tatum plays a character. It's based off of the character Channing Tatum, which I'm not completely sure of what character's name Channing Tatum plays. But anyway, it's based off a book that Channing Tatum's character writes. Something about my time at Foxcatcher and Charles DuPont. Anyway, Charles DuPont actually in real life at some point in time is either, I think he's put on trial for murder or something.
Oh.
Anyways, the story tells what happened before all that. And
see, it made me think like because they make it kind of look mysterious, like there's a conspiracy going on.
Oh, like they were actually
in the trailer.
I thought you were going to say I thought they were actually catching foxes.
No, like in the trailer, like things like you can tell that there's like a dark undertone to Steve Carell like in the trailer, and I thought he was just molesting everybody at the camp. Like honestly,
molesting his wrestlers.
Yeah, but I'm glad you cleared that up. He's murdering people. Okay.
But anyway, apparently. I'm not completely. I haven't seen the movie yet, but it's one of those I want to check out. So maybe if anybody's checked that out, let me know. Let me know how it is. I want to see it. Also, another good movie I want to point out: The Judge with Robert Duvall and Robert Downey Jr. in
I
it.
heard that was a good one.
Badass movie, great. Oh my god, both of them delivered top-notch A+ performances.
I do like Robert Duvall.
Iron Man is fucking awesome in that movie. Which, yes, it may
Iron
not be.
Man is not in The Judge, but the guy that plays Iron Man is in The Judge.
Well, yeah, but he's kind of a smartass like Tony Stark. So I'm just wondering if Robert Downey Jr. isn't. At
Robert
this point
Downey
Tony
Jr.
Stark.
I've heard is just a smartass in general.
He's Tony Stark, man.
Even before he was Tony Stark. He almost lost his career in acting because he was such an asshole. Not, but mostly at drugs, but still, like.
And a drug addict.
Yeah, but.
But anyway, yeah, you should. But if you've seen you haven't seen it yet.
No.
You need to check it out. It's really, really good.
And there's a snake in the cabin here.
There's a snake in my boot.
There's a snake. I'll tell that story later.
And this guy is chopping it up into 3 equal pieces. Did you know? The true or false, Beckett?
Okay.
I heard this last night. Now, can you eat a live king cobra?
Can you eat a live king cobra? Doubtful. I mean, well, actually, you could.
You would be wrong, sir.
No, I was gonna say you technically could because venom is not poison. It attacks your like neurological system. So you could.
God, good answer. Like apparently venom, if it is entered, here's what they do.
If you drink venom, it will not hurt you.
In
but
Dubai
if you
or
get
some
it into
such
your
fucking nonsense place like that where they do that.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly, what they do is they devenom the king cobra through his fangs. They put it in a shot glass, and then they empty the bile out of the stomach and put it in a shot glass. Supposed to make the venom taste better. Apparently, venom introduced through the bloodstream is harmful, but if you take a shot of venom, apparently your stomach acids can break it down.
Right.
Okay, well, they prepare the cobra in a way that it is alive while you actually eat various parts of it. Now, wouldn't that be creepy as fuck?
That would be pretty creepy.
Watching this thing and then stab it with your
I've never ate a snake, although I would be open to it. Like if it was cooked, I wouldn't.
Right.
I really wouldn't eat a live snake. But I've heard that reptiles, like which I've had frog.
Alligator tastes like chicken. Chicken is
everything tastes like chicken. Like that's all I've heard. Like I've heard snake, lizards taste like chicken. You know.
Hey, they do. They taste. Alligator tastes a lot like chicken,
like
bro.
Reptiles, frogs taste. If you ever had frog legs, which I know most of us here in West Virginia, hillbillies, we've probably had frog legs at least one time in our life.
I've never had frog leg.
It's pretty good. If you can get some good meaty frog legs, tastes like chicken.
Okay, so
A little more gamey, but I mean, it tastes like chicken.
what part are we at? We are. Let's see.
There's a police officer.
The police officer.
There's a guy
in a bad movie police officer outfit.
There's a guy with his shirt off and he's wearing like
Indian
some type
feathers.
he's wearing the tribal.
He says we're not gonna stand for no strangers now here. Y'all better not be smoking the hash, the weed. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's like, no, but they were, of course.
Zach could probably quote this movie line for line.
That kind of. Now we're about ready to start the night at Crystal Lake, where Mrs. Voorhees will be on her killing spree of the rest of the teenagers here at Camp Crystal Lake.
Nice.
Or, 20-somethings playing teenagers.
Most likely.
Speaking of which, have you ever seen the movie Sleepaway Camp? I'm going to touch on Sleepaway Camp for a minute.
Sleepaway Camp, yes.
That is the freaking weirdest movie.
Another campy horror movie.
Yes, but in that campy horror movie, I shit you not, they wear short shorts, and every dude you can see the cock outline, number one.
Mel
and at this camp, there is like
Moose knuckle.
15-year-olds and 30-year-olds like together, and it's just really weird. And then it turns out, chick has a dick.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Chick has a dick.
Yeah, like I've only seen Sleepaway Camp maybe twice, and that's whenever I had Dish, and it was like on some channel on Dish, and I watched it, and I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, I remember the counselor was the head counselor that was a hermaphrodite.
Yeah. That's it. The hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite horror. That'd be a good movie. We should write that. Hermaphrodite horror. Yeah.
There it is. It's called Hedwig and the Angry Inch. Look that movie up, kids.
What?
Look that movie up, kids.
Hedwig and what?
Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
It is a cult. It is a cult phenomena, but I personally did not like it.
A cult phenomena.
A guy.
Phenomenon.
I've seen it like once or twice. It's just a guy that they actually have a song. They actually have a song associated with the movie. I forgot who sings it, but the guy pretty much has a mound of flesh, like it's an inch of flesh that where his penis used to be.
You're gonna have to check out the. You're gonna have to check out this short film that was made by some kid in college somewhere, because I'm given to understand people actually go to college. But anyway, in some college somewhere called
Mom goes to college. Sorry.
I took my skin. He took his skin off for me, and it's about a guy who skins himself, hangs his skin suit up in the closet, and walks around skinless for his girlfriend.
That's fucking weird.
It's fucked up.
That's very fucked up.
Like, I barely will go to Taco Bell for a chick, much less take my skin off.
But see, for you, going to Taco Bell would be more of a hassle, though.
Well, sometimes I ride my chair to Taco Bell.
That's a fucking long ways away, just driving.
Yeah, well,
chair.
you know, in the hunt, sometimes you got to make sacrifices, bro.
Okay, it's in the wintertime? How the fuck you bundle up?
I wear my vest and my flannel.
Okay, the guy's on a motorized wheelchair, and our Taco Bell...
It's about 7 blocks away.
No, it's more than that. It's a good...
Mile.
It's a good mile, 2 miles, maybe.
Maybe 2 miles.
It's down the road, and it's fucking cold. I mean, granted, it's not New York or Chicago cold, but I mean, it's still pretty fucking cold. Like 10 degrees outside.
Okay, so Kevin Bacon just restarted the generator here at Camp Crystal Lake to keep the lights on. Wonder how long that's gonna last.
Old Bacon.
And there's a beaver.
Oh, that's a beaver?
That's a beaver, and
this guy's getting ready to get some beaver.
He's about ready to get some beaver. You are quite right, sir. Now he's about ready to give his... She's about ready to tell about her dream, where she's like, I have a dream every night where it rains, and it's raining blood. And Kevin Bacon's like, that's no dream. This storm's going to come and tear this valley like a son of a gun.
I have a dream. Sorry.
I have a dream, and it's about blood.
That was wildly inappropriate.
Camp blood. Yeah, dude, we're kidding.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Well, you just said that.
Sorry, MLK. We also like the NBA. Anyway,
irrelevant, but okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that was a little bit off, but yeah, whatever. Anyway, yes, but yeah, this movie to me is a classic, bro.
I mean, it's a classic, but I mean,
Some would be like, you know, and I'm going to get comments on this later after people listen to this. They're going to be like, classic piece of shit. And to you people, I say, fuck you. You know, what movie taste do you got, Mom?
Hostilities.
That's going to be...
Was that directed towards your mother?
Yeah, because that's who's going to be commenting later. That's going to be who's be like, who's a classic piece of shit? And I'm going to be like, yeah, Mom, so is Grey's Anatomy. It's a classic piece of shit. Dr. McDreamy is... I would like to punch him in his Mick face. That would be great. And Dr. McMuffin.
You're right. Your mother and Tut will probably be the first people to comment on this.
But yeah, and they're going to be like, you guys are fucking idiots. And what have you guys done lately? I mean, besides, you know, have a job and go to school and shit. But other than that.
We're making a podcast, folks.
We're making a podcast. We're doing something creative with our free time.
We're making fucking lemonade. We're going for it.
And yeah, we're going to say we're expanding to some more shit later. Later, I think we're going to Twitch a little bit of game stream. Me and Becker are going to drunkenly play some fucking Injustice Gods Among Us. You know, and oh, by the way, have you seen the trailer for the new Mortal Kombat? Looks sick, bro.
Yes. Actually, I have a MLK or M... you guys said MLK or Mortal Kombat 9. I got that on the PS3.
Oh, yeah,
I still am rocking my PS3.
Yeah, that's a good game,
I got a PS4 now too, but I mean I do play the PS3.
But Mortal Kombat X. Have you seen the? Have you seen the? You can punch a chick right in her vagina. That looks cool. Wow. You can gut somebody.
Falcon punch.
Scorpion actually puts out his spear, and you can like cut someone in half. It looks sick as shit. I'm excited.
I'm ready for another beer. I don't tell you that much.
And
I'm pacing.
Yeah,
myself,
but so yeah, we're gonna do some Twitch. We're gonna try to make some YouTube content. We're gonna just try to go for it. We're gonna do something cool. Something with our time.
Be separate from. Do you want to podcast while we Twitch, so everybody can hear how much I dominate your ass at Injustice?
Yeah, we could podcast. We might save that one for a separate piece here in a little while. I think it'd be good to keep the podcast separate from the... Wait a minute. We shouldn't really be brainstorming while we're podcasting, but that's part of the fun. You get to be with the creative process with us.
This is our new venture here.
Yes, it's our new business venture. You get to be part of the creative the creative podcast, the creative process with us. Yeah, beer's kicking in, bro. But we're having but this should be fun. This should be a good thing. Keep us happy. Keep us minds off the worldly bullshit that we have to go through day in and day out. Me, living here in the Highland prison. Highland Place, and
the old cripple home.
well, the old handicap home on Third,
Huntington.
the old folks home. We prefer senior citizens.
The listeners will probably not know what the fuck third means.
That's true.
I'm just
Across from Applebee's.
They don't know where our fucking Apple. Okay.
Everybody knows where Applebee's is.
Okay, folks.
If you got a phone, you can Google Applebee's,
Okay.
3rd Avenue, Huntington, West Virginia.
Okay. You want to tell them what your apartment is too? So
No,
they can
because
visit you?
I want to get a stalker, unless you got big boobs and are blonde. In which case, hashtag 905.
It's better to fall in love with a 6 than put your dick in a crazy 9.
Words to live by. And on that note, I think we're going to close out this inaugural podcast of the Bucket and Potato Show, or the Potato and Bucket Show, however you want to say it. I like Potato and Bucket.
I'm Mike Beckett.
I'm Zach Van Deventer, and it's been a pleasure. Good night, good luck, and we'll speak with you again soon.